Hey guys, welcome to question MM446 of the Maths Methods Fortify study guide. So in this question we've got a suburb called Doreen. There are 1,000 men between the ages of 20 and 25 living in this area. The local medical centre would like to know how many of them go to the gym regularly, so they send out a survey. 50 of the 1,000 men respond to the survey, so we've got 50 respondents. 18 of whom do regularly go to the gym. Write an expression for M1, the margin of error for the 95% confidence interval for the likelihood that a male between the ages of 20 and 25 living in Doreen goes to the gym regularly. Cool. Well, we know that a margin of error, or in this case M1, is given by Z outside root 1 P1 minus P hat over N. Now, Z for our 95% confidence interval is 1.96. Okay, so we have 1.96 here outside of root P hat, which is the proportion of men who go to the gym, which in this case was 18 out of the 50, outside of 1 minus 18 on 50, over our N value, which was 50. Awesome. Now, because you don't have a calculator, you can't really, I guess, simplify this too much. What I would do is say 1.96 outside of root 18 on 50 times 32 on 50 over 50, and we get 1.96 outside of 18 times 32 over 2,500 times 50, right? Because we've got this 50 and this 50, which is the 2,500, and then we're multiplying that by the 50 on the bottom, which equals 1.96 over, and now just kind of simplifying this down, taking out common factors, we get, we get 9 times 8 over 625 times 25. What we get is 1.96 outside of root 72 over 15, 625. And the reason I'm doing this is because it'll make it easier for us in the next question, and I'll show you in a second why. So that's our first mark, and that's it. So that's our M1. Let's move on to part B. So part B is a 3-mark question and is actually quite difficult. So it says, suppose that only 25 men respond to the survey. Marker's going. Assuming the proportion of men who go to the gym regularly remains the same, find the value of K such that the new margin of error, M2, for the 95% confidence interval for the likelihood that a male between the ages of 20 and 25 living in Doreen goes to the gym regularly based on 25 respondents is obtained by increasing M1 by a factor of K. Alright, awesome. So we need to find the value of K. Now this is a quite a wordy question. So what we're saying is that we've got this value, this margin of error, M2, which is the margin of error for the survey with 25 men, okay? So we've got this Z side of P hat, 1 minus P hat over N. Z is still the same because we've still got a 95% confidence interval, so it's still 1.96. Then we have it outside the root of proportion. Now, we've only got 25 in our survey at the moment, but it says that the proportion who responded who go to the gym remains the same, which means that our proportion of 18 on 50 needs to be the same here, which means our proportion is going to be 9 on 25, okay, because our proportion there is the same. So this proportion is 9 on 25, 1 minus 9 on 25 over N, which in this case is our 25. Now simplifying this, we get 1.96 outside of root 9 on 25 times 16 on 25 over 25. It's 1.96 outside of 9 times 16 over 625 times 25, which is equal to 1.96 outside of 144 over 15, 625. Now, this is our first mark, and what we are saying is that M2 is found by increasing M1 by a factor of K. Okay, so K times M1 equals M2, right? Now, I'm going to actually just rewrite this because that's going to take up a lot of space. But this is our general formula, okay? So K times M1, which was, and this is M2, K times M1, where M1 was 1.96 outside of root 72 over 15, 625. equals our M2, right? Because we're increasing M1 by a factor of k. So 1.96 times root 144 over 156, so 15,625. Now, we can kind of see there's a bit of a pattern here. So what we need to do is find k, right? So we can divide both sides by 1.96 and just get rid of that, which means that k is then equal to root 144 over 15,625. Actually, this is our second mark, by the way, up here, over the square root of 72 over 15,625, which means we can flip this and times it, so we get the square root of 144 over 15,625 multiplied by the square root of 15,625 over 72. Now, this 15,625 and this 15,625 cancel. What we end up with is square root of 144 over the square root of 72, which is equal to root 2, because we can just divide these by themselves. And that's it. So that, therefore, k equals root 2. Now, I know this is really, really complex. If you didn't get it, don't stress too hard. It's designed to be a very difficult question. So k equals root 2 is our final answer for part B, and that actually wraps up MM446, guys. So if you have any questions about this solution, please hit me up in the comments below. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.